Mr. President, for half a century now, the international community has been witnessing a gamut of torture, murder, exploitation, sexual violence, arbitrary detention inflicted on the nationals of West Papua, perpetrated by in Indonesia. We call on our counterparts throughout the world to support the legal right of West Papua to self-determination.
We have great sympathy for the legitimate aspiration of the people of West Papua for freedom and independence through legitimate political means to govern themselves and guide their own destiny. The inconvenient truth is that the decolonization process remains incomplete, and an intensification of effort is essential in achieving the goal of full self-government through the attainment of a legitimate political status option. This principle must be the guiding standard applicable to the small island territories, just as they were the standards to decolonize other former colonies. St. Vincent and the Grenadines remains fully seized of this issue.
Solomon Islands' position on the aforementioned issues are premised on principles that we have consistently upheld. In this connection, Solomon Islands condemns the consistent human rights violation in West Papua. Our sustainable development goals that promote the notion of no one left behind is synonymous to empty promises unless we in the United Nations take active steps to address the plight of the peoples of West Papua. Indeed, we have left them behind some 50 years ago, when we, as a family of nations, noted their plight without much to add. Since then, the people of West Papua were never allowed the proper act of self-determination, guaranteed by the inalienable right to self-determination as expressed in United Nations human rights covenants. Only international action by individual countries and from the leading organizational bodies of the international system, especially the United Nations, can pave the way for the recognition of a people whose right to self-determination had been denied for nearly 50 years ago. Failing this, we as a family of nations will become complicit in perpetuating the sufferings and being blind to the injustice, missing yet another golden opportunity to remain true to the saying of leaving no one behind. At the 71st session, a group of Pacific Island nations called for this august body to address the human rights violation in West Papua. Today, I stand on behalf of my people and those in the Pacific region to reiterate that same call on this august body to address the plight of West Papuan women, children, and men. Our people are watching. West Papuans inside West Papua are watching, praying, and are hoping for a brighter future. They have come in numbers to express their hope for a better future. We as leaders have this responsibility of leaving no one behind.
Mr. President, the people of West Papua should be enabled to exercise their fundamental rights with the intervention of this responsible body to allow them to determine their own development aspirations and future. West Papuans are distinct people with Pacific roots, with their own land, history, and culture. The violation of human rights in West Papua is a constant matter of great concern to us in Tuvalu. Tuvalu strongly believes the United Nations must engage in setting a clear pathway to addressing these issues and the issue of self-determination for the people of West Papua.